testing it, doesn't matter. Okay, so what we've got for you is a little kind of, we've got, basically it's a workshop in a box. We've given you a little package of what to do, and we've given some suggestions for how you might actually prepare. It's basically running a little workshop or a focus group. We've made some suggestions around how, you know, what people might need. I mean, basically all you need is something that you can record people's answers on. But as I said, particularly for your group, we are really interested in flexibility around that. So if, for example, Graham, some of your clients want to record their answers on mobile phones and send in video, we will accommodate that. In terms of anonymity and identification, we would love first names, but we don't need any other information than that. We'd like to know from you behind the scenes a little bit of stats. So it was people with disabilities, they were aged this much, that kind of stuff. But in terms of how we use the information, that will all be completely anonymous and nobody will be attributed. Obviously, you know, if people do send in a video, we would like to say same. And if people want to use another name, that's it. So, you know, the issue here is not naming, shaming or identifying people. It's because we know that when people hear real stories, that's what gets to them. They are over being told by others what experience is. The guidelines sort of just basically work you through stuff, but really it's just about everybody in the group having the opportunity to have their say. And the questions are really simple. I'll just give you an idea. So question one is, imagine a community that feels inclusive for people. You know, what words would you use to describe that? So they're very open-ended, very easy. Can you tell us about a time when you did feel included or you didn't feel included? So that's a lived experience. There's some questions about connectivity and safety. We are happy for you to add on questions if you like. So if you think actually there's something here that we could capture that aren't, go for it. Throw it in. If you think, since you have that group here together, I'd actually like to know something, go for it. You've got them. Like, we want this to be a very, we don't want this to be hard work for you. We certainly don't want it to be hard work for the participants. We want it to be a meaningful experience. And if you can get benefit out of it too, that would be fabulous. So does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If I might just add something, Lucy.
Yeah.
When you do have an opportunity to read through the guidelines and have a look at what it's asking people to work through, it sort of indicates that we're encouraging people to lead a conversation. So to allow people to share what their thoughts are. So to share the words that come to mind or to share the experiences they've had. If that doesn't work for your groups, it's also okay just to guide people through the questions and to respond themselves. So you don't have to have that conversation element to it. It can be used just as a way of capturing the answers to those questions.
Yeah. You can also, you can fill in responses electronically. So that's all online. So if you want, and if it's appropriate, you could get each participant to fill in their own response form. You know, so they can do that in hard copy, or they can do it on their laptops or on soft copies or on terminals if you've got them. So we really do want it to be as inclusive as possible. And we have got some other activities. So we have an online mural board. If your clients would rather use like an interactive whiteboard type thing, you could use that. And if your user groups, there's actually a creative challenge component to this. So there is another thing which is asking people to kind of communicate, to tell us about their experience or their dreams through any kind of art form or create. So they could write, they could paint, they could draw, they could sculpt, they could write music, they could rap, whatever. So also that's part of this. So if they are interested in this topic and wanting to do more, there are more opportunities, and they're all up there on the webpage, or you can just contact Brianna and she can kind of direct you to them. We don't think, we've tried to make we reckon you could get through it easily in an hour, but again, that's entirely up to you. And if you only get, one question answered, do you know what I mean? Like if the burning question for your group is around safety, so Graham, that may well be, for some of your user groups, those kids are really vulnerable. They might just want to talk about safety, or they might just want to talk about being included. That's fine. There's no right, wrong. This is just we were hoping it's a really appropriate way to extend our reach, to really hear from voices that we wouldn't otherwise hear, and voices that we believe are really important and valuable.
The other thing about this strategy is that we're designing it on a strengths-based approach. So we are really encouraging people as well through this process to look at when things worked well and when they had things at their disposal that allowed them to feel safe or included or connected. So it doesn't just have to be that deficit focus and where are the gaps. We want that as well, but we definitely want to hear from people about when things were working and what was available to them to allow them to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.